Is there a moment you can think as an actor where losing actually taught you something and it may have been better than winning?
It's a great question, man. Jake,
Man,
I
you know
love
how
you,
much
man.
I
Thanks for
care. Love
everything,
you.
pal.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Guys,
Jake,
good to
it's great
see
to see you.
you.
How are you, man?
I'm doing so well. You ever get tired of making good movies? You're just going to keep doing it.
Oh, you charmer, you. Charmer. Say it again. It's great to see you, Jake.
Sure, you can always tell if I don't like a movie because I'll just go, hey, that got made.
Look forward to that day and we can squirm together.
It'll never happen.
We can squirm
Guys,
together.
I love this movie. Thank you for taking the time. And Mr. Farrell, I'm going to start with you. There's a quote in the original novel that I really love. Everyone knows you're not a real player until you secretly prefer losing, which I found fascinating because there are moments in this movie where I thought, does he even want to win? Because losing gives him an excuse to go back again, and winning gives him a reason to stop. I'd love for you to look back over your career. What is the most valuable loss you've experienced? Not getting a role, a bombed audition, a movie not doing well. Is there a moment you can think as an actor where losing actually taught you something and it may have been better than winning?
It's a great question, man. Yeah, I mean, when, and not to no shade on Miami Vice at all, but when it came out first, particularly, it wasn't really well received, and it was there was a kind of a bit of an outcry, as much as there can be around a film, about the film not meeting expectations and stuff. And I was at a certain stage in my life as well, personally, but then creatively or professionally, how the film wasn't received or was received. It forced me to, we could have considered that a loss, you know. But as we know in life as well, some things that feel like a loss in the moment can show themselves in later years to be great graces and turning points. So that's what Miami Vice was for me, because I remember I had lost sight of, and it wasn't just on that film. I saw that there was a lead up to it, that there was so much noise around, and God, poor me. There was so much success at a young age that it was so overwhelming, but I didn't want to acknowledge its overwhelm. But what that period made me do, sorry to go on, is ask, why did I go back to the second acting class I did when I was 16? I know I went to the first one, but what got me back into the second class? Why did I go back again? And it was the kind of just the simple curiosity and the playfulness and the ability to express uncertainty and that same curiosity, which is why, so it forced me to key back into a kind of a purer approach to what I was doing for a living for the, you know, at that point, 7 or 8 years. So that was a big one for me. Thanks for the
That's
question.
fascinating. You know, film Twitter regards that movie as a classic now. I
I
don't
know it's had a
know.
second life. That's why I said when it first came out, it's really lovely. It has had a second life. Yeah, it's cool.
It's incredible. This is a tough question to ask, but without spoiling anything, there are a lot of aspects about your character that are hidden from us until the end of the film. And I'd love to know, I want to go back and watch the film another time. Are you playing to those secrets? If I were to sit down with you and watch this film, could you point out things about your performance that are maybe hinting toward those revelations that maybe I never noticed?
I think of course, I'm very like uber conscious of, having read the whole script and prepped the whole thing. Of course, there's, milestones as part of my job. It's my service to do that, to embed those milestones along the way. But it's really to Edward Berger's directing and editing. It all happens in the editing room, I think, because Ed likes to take many takes. So we give, we try to find as many variations as possible and to just like sprinkle possibility into each take at different sizes. And I'm like, oh God, this is cool. I better show that moment I thought, but then sometimes you get, carried away, and I get, swept away by this one, and you do something different. But yeah, I feel like it's a collaboration of finding those things, and kind of it's Edward's, I think his work is to tell a cohesive story, and she's only a small piece of the puzzle. So I give him as many variations as possible. Of course, in my mind, I know exactly what moment, what line's being said to her, or what she's saw and breath, and that's the moment she makes certain decisions.
Huge piece of puzzle. Though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's and if you go back and watch it again, I wish I will also, in some time I'll go back and watch it again. It's not, I love the fact that it's not super clear. So, but it's there. It's, you have to go back into Netflix and watch it over, which is a good thing that's on the platform. You can watch over and over again. You might find things differently.
I love film. I love film. Colin, I'm really quick. I'm gonna try to
No,
squeeze
no.
in one more.
No, no,
When this,
Jake,
He's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
No, he's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All good.
Oh,
We're all set. I'm so
I just
sorry.
when this movie was thank you. When this movie was over, one of the very first questions I had is he going to be okay? And I
Yeah.
would love to know, as an actor, how much you concern yourself with what happens to these guys after we cut to black. Do you think about their path forward? And of all of your characters, who is the one that you most want to know what happened to them?
I do, and not too much. Like, not too much, I don't, because I don't have any more, I don't feel I have any more purchase, and maybe even less because I've been a part of bringing it to life to a certain punctuation, which is the credits roll at the end. I maybe have less purchase than the audience. You give it over, then you walk away, and it really belongs to others, With that in mind, I do think clearly, and I have thought clearly, that the greatest gift that he has at the end of this film, Riley, is that he'll never be called Doyle again, but that he really has an opportunity, and I think we'll probably capitalise on that opportunity and what he's learned, again, particularly through our characters' relationships, to live a decent life. Just that. He's not worried about being great anymore. He's not worried about having a high status anymore. He's not worried about being a winner. In fact, he doesn't see life in the terms of winning and losing. He just will be a decent human being going forth. So that's, in my mind, that's the biggest journey that he goes on.
Ballad of a Free Man. I love that, guys. I love you both. I love this movie so much. And Colin,
Thank you.
you're one of my guys,
Jake,
man.
I
You know
love
how
you,
much I
man.
care.
Thanks for
love
everything,
you,
pal. You
I'll
too.
see you guys. Tell Danica I say hi.
I will do. She's right there.
Bye, Danica. Love you. Bye, guys.
See you, Jake.
Bye.
All the best.
Mr. Berger, an honor to see you again, sir. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Jake. Thanks for coming back.
Of course, always for you, sir. Always. I've got a very nerdy question, if you don't mind, because I am fascinated with small details, small choices in movies, and I love getting the stories behind them. I want to ask you about how Lord Doyle looks at his cards and how you shoot him looking at his cards, because it seems very deliberate. It's very tense how he flips, kind of bends the cards up. And I love how he does it, and I love how you shoot it. And I was just wondering, from one film nerd to another, I'd love to know the story behind it.
I came across it in Macau, actually. This is actually what people do. They really lift the cards very slowly, and they peek under it, and they see the, whatever, is it a spade or a heart or whatever it is, and they believe they can change the number on the card. It's a real belief. And we use that as a means to create tension. Colin lifting the card, and his gloves are squeaking, and we really have a wide angle lens right here on the deck or on the other side, just sort of not quite revealing what the number is. So we want to, witness the sweat building on his forehead with him, and we want to be that sweat basically by putting the camera right on the deck, trying to see what's under the card.
There's this thing that happens whenever I'm watching a movie and seeing it on the big screen, where I feel like a sign that I'm locked in, where I'm almost looking into the frame, because when you did that, I found myself leaning up to see if I could see, and almost as if I forgot.
Oh, that's great.
That the screen is there. And it's a cool thing that happened. I kept looking to see if I could see. There is a quote in the original novel that I love, which is, "Everyone knows you're not a real player until you secretly prefer losing," which I found fascinating watching this movie, because there were moments where I was wondering, does he even want to win? Because losing gives him an excuse to go back again, and winning would, in theory, should make him stop. I'd love for you to look back over your career. What is the most valuable loss you've ever experienced? A take that didn't work out, a shot that wasn't in focus, maybe a movie that you didn't end up making. Is there a loss where you can look back and go, there was value to that? I'm glad that happened.
I think, this is something I really valued. My second movie just didn't work. This is 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And it's just, I had great success with the first one. I had the big opportunity to make the second one. And then the movie just didn't turn out that great. It didn't connect with the audience. I was really proud of it, but it just sort of didn't, it just didn't reach anyone. And then it took me 10 years to figure out why. And I realized, I made the movie because I could. It was an opportunity, not because I had to. And the audience feels that. They feel like, okay, this guy just made it because I could, and I was too young to know the difference. And so that was a mistake that I just, taught me a valuable lesson after 10 years of thinking about it. At the moment, at the time, it felt like, damn, why did this happen? I wish it was successful. But even the failures teach you a great lesson, and hope you come. In the end, you come out stronger and don't make it again.
That's fascinating. Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that. There's a thing that happened when this movie cut to black, very similar to what happened when Conclave was over, which is I asked myself, well, okay, what happens next? What happens with these characters? And I feel like that's a good sign whenever a movie ends and I want to keep going. I want to keep following them. I'm just sort of curious, as a storyteller, do you ponder what goes on in the lives of these characters after we cut to black? Or for you, is their story done when we go to credits?
No, I mean, I'm mostly interested in the moment of change. Yes, the story is done when we go to credits for the movie, but in the period of change, or the moment of change that happens just before that, somewhere near the end, where they realize something and have learned something, the implementation of that learning, like how they're going to behave now in the future, I'm less interested in. I'm more interested in, they've made that change. Now, hopefully, this is the beginning of a new way. They've taken something away, just like I took something away out of that mistake, just like we hopefully take something out of the movie. And now let's see how that, I know that Colin is at the beginning of a new path. Whatever that life is, I probably would rather prefer to see the sequel with Tilda Swinton or Fala Chen, see what they're doing.
I would follow that to the end of the earth, my friend. I hope you know the seismic shift that Conclave had in the city of Chicago. Of course,
Of course.
Pope Leo, hails from these parts, and the way, if they hadn't seen it already, everyone in the city of Chicago is now an expert on the process because of you, sir, and we thank you for that.
I love that they watched the movie, and apparently Pope Leo and his brother watched the movie, so that's good.
That's a good sign. Sir, if you can't tell, I love what you do. I love chatting and geeking out about what you do, and thank you for always letting me geek out with you. I just really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Great questions.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.